Hello everyone, this is Sean, and this is part 1 of the 1000 scale Defiant build. What I'm doing right now is I am getting the parts ready for their gray primer, at least the hull parts. Wanted to pick a primer that matches the two colors that I'm going to compare for the ship. Now, I had run out of TS81, so I bought that. That's the same as I used on the 2500 scale TOS Enterprise. And I want to compare it on a spare piece of sprue to, well, not sprue, maybe, oh, I don't know, styrene sheets. Yes, there we go. I'll test both colors on that, and we'll see how we do. So I'll put you on the table and show you what I'm up to. All right, so here we go. I've got the main hull, and I realized, I experimented, I can use the pegs and narrow down the main hull kind of like a car, where it'll actually fit. You see? It'll fit. So it could actually be spray painted there, but that should work. But then I realized something else, and my mistake. Look, with the sprue tree attachments, it's going to be hard to get at the side. And you want to be able to get at this side. So it may be necessary for me to actually... well, there you go. There, I don't have to worry now, see? Part number embedded in the middle of the hull. So what you do is you just go like this, and there you go. So if there's any doubt as to what part number there is going to be there, not anymore. So that means I can safely cut at most of the parts off their sprue trees. But if you take a look at the other parts, you can see if you get all four sides, you should pretty well be able to get almost everything. But again, I can carefully write the part numbers on the back and then separate out these small pieces. I'll leave these pieces because they're so small. I'll leave them on the sprue tree and spray them from there. Yeah, that's very good. Okay. So I got my plan, and I'll set everything up for it. I'll be back. Okay, so there we go. The top and bottom engine cowlings are on the ship, as is the deflector taped into place on both sides. So now it's time to spray paint the outside of the ship itself with the primer, and we'll go from there. So I'll be back when that's done. Hello everyone, it's Sean. I'm back, and I have successfully put the primer, gray primer, white primer on the small parts. I've also done the same with the hull of the Defiant, which you can see here, both top and bottom. One of the pieces of the front deflector unit didn't stay in place, so I had to tape it down separately, but the other piece, as you see, did. So I'll let everything dry. And then I'll move on to testing the two hull colors on these styrene sheets here. And we'll see which one I end up picking. So, talk to y'all later. Bye-bye. Hello everyone, I'm back. This is the Defiant with its bottom nacelle housings in the correct orientation. So as you can see, there are some parts that did not get the covering because those things were on the wrong way. I had to check the instructions to see the orientation that I'd put each part in along the bottom, and then they matched up properly. So the pegs on the bottom piece will match the holes in the top piece and vice versa. Of course, you don't put those on until step 3. I just test fitting them to the model while I do the painting of the hull color so I can make sure that I get everything that should be painted, but I don't accidentally obscure the paint holes. That way everything should work out properly. And of course, you'll also know that I did the clear parts white. I did both sides because first time I did it, I realized I'd done the wrong side, so I did the other side as well. So now they've got the, you know, the back warp grills, the front Bassard collectors. I think the impulse housing's in here somewhere. These are the escape pods. I don't know what all these little bits are, but probably do with the weapons. And then there is the other hull inserts. At least I got these done with the proper side up. Yeah. So that'll be all probably until Tuesday. We're going to be away at work longer tomorrow than usual, so I won't have any time tomorrow evening to work on the model. And besides, I'm going to have to test these styrene pieces with the two colors to see which one will be best for the ship as far as a hull color. I want to test them on these first before I do anything. So that's all for today, and I'll probably be back on Tuesday to do some more on the Defiant. So we'll see you here next time. Bye-bye. Hello everyone, this is Sean, and this is the next section of part 1 of the 1000 scale Defiant build. As you can see here, I've created 2 styrene sheet sections taped down to the box with the respective colors I'm going to use for the testing. Probably didn't need a sheet that big, but I wanted to have a surface that was roughly equivalent to the color of the size of the ship, and I believe I got it about right. See? There you go. So what I'll do is I will heat these up in the the container of water, take it to the park, do the spray painting with the 2 color tests, and we'll just see how it looks when I get back. Hi everyone, it's Sean. I'm back again from the park. As you can see, I did the spray painting, so we can see that the aircraft light gray is slightly darker than the Tamiya plastic light gray. Now with all the panels on the Defiant, it's hard to tell which one is the base color. Just give me a minute here. Alright, let's see here. So we look at the guide. We see where all the decals are. We arrange the color, the sheet with the picture, and we can see that, okay, there's some base color around the bridge module. And its edge. There's some base color in here. Alright, so let's see here. We can see that color. It looks like, I think it's the aircraft gray, and that would make it different from the Enterprise, which was done in the Tamiya light gray. But we'll wait for them to dry, and I'll come back in tomorrow, and we'll see what the updated dried colors are, again, compared to the box art. As you can see the bottom picture here. You can see how the gray has that slight brownish tint in it, just like both of these. So that's good. This was done on white primer, by the way. So, talk to you all later. Bye-bye. Okay, I'm back again. I am trying to find a color that can match the primer gray of the Defiant. I took a look and realized that these grays, to me, were all light gray. Way too dark. Way too dark for the Defiant, and too much in the brown. But if you look here, the Tamiya light gray lightened with folk art white could also be lightened with a Tamiya white, because it is liquid enough. And I have the pipettes here, which I can use in this mixing bottle to try and get the ratio right. And I have 3 different whites: regular white, flat white, and, well, okay, same white. All right, here we go. Because that way, if there's any nicks or scratches in the hull, I'll have the perfect hand paint color. So I'm going to experiment a bit and we'll see how it goes. All right, well, you can see the results here. This is with the folk art. That is with the Tamiya. The Tamiya white is still too creamy. It's still a brownish tint. So the plain cottage white from folk art is still the best one to mix with the Tamiya light gray to get the proper shade. Because if you look, as this shade is drying, you will see that it's getting close to the shade of the light gray primer of the Defiant, which is exactly what I'm looking for. Because then I can catch any parts that I missed with the primer spray when the nacelle mounts were backwards. So I'm going to try again, and I'll be back when I've got the color matched as best as possible. Alright, so I've got the color, I've got it labeled. I have the 2 paints that make it up. So we'll see what it dries to. Right there. Hard to see, but there. You can see it better on camera than I can in real life. Silver Sharpie's labeling it because the fine black Sharpie didn't work over the paint. So we'll see how it goes. And when it dries tomorrow, I'll come back and I'll see if it matches the dried color of the Defiant hull. But I've already decided I'm going to put the pearl white over the light gray primer, just like I did for the Excelsior over there. So it's still a gray, but it will be a gray that is significantly different than the light brownish gray that you can see on the right side of panel number 5. See how that's a brownish gray? See how that's a dark medium gray? See how that's like a brown? Yeah, there's 3 different shades here. Alright, so that'll be good. That'll be good for the Defiant. That's all for tonight. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye. Hello, it's Sean. I'm back again. It's Wednesday. And I have been working on fixing the hull of the Defiant to make it match the color. But all I seem to do with the paint, all I seem to do is accidentally bring it back to the plastic color here. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to extend that color shade right to this line because there's not a decal that covers that section. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Make it match. Make it look deliberate. But before I do that, I have one more thing to try with just the tester's paints, as you see. So I'm going to do those samples. We'll see the results, and then since it's raining, I won't be doing any spray painting today, but I may pull out my panel line accent, experiment with it, the light gray on the bottom hull here, and we'll go from there. So I'll be right back. Made some progress. Got 2 of the colors done. Well, actually 3. And I'm just doing the 2 Tamiyas. And of course, I did my mix. So we'll see what the final result is of all 6, and we'll wait a bit for them to dry. Alright, so there we are. There are the 6 colors. So you have the 3 tester's colors. 1, 2, 3. You have my mixture right here. You have the Tamiya light gray, which really looks like a normal medium. And then you have the royal light gray, which is good because when it darkens, it'll probably be the same color as this. So it does appear, and here's the ship for comparison. So if you look at the ship for comparison, it does really look like my mixture, which was created with Folk Art Wicker White, Tamiya White, Light Gray, is the closest to the ship, as you can see. Of course, you have to wait for it to dry. So I think I'll end up using my mixture after all, because this is way too green. This is way too dark. This is into the brownish tint. This thing almost has a pinkish orange tint. But that's why I do this. I get a piece of cardboard or something, I test all the colors out, and find out what needs to be done. And that's about all I can do tonight, because the rest of it relies on having good weather to spray paint. So I'll be back, I guess tomorrow night, and we'll see what spray painting I can get done. What I will do is I have to split up this sprue tree into the blues, which are the escape pods and everything, and the reds, which is the warp engine grills and any impulse engines that are in there. And then they'll be clipped with 2 different clips on opposite sides of the section. So that's all for now for the 1000 Scale Defiant, and we'll see you here next time. Well, tomorrow night. Bye-bye. Hello everyone, this is Sean. I'm back again. What I've done is I have put my mixture on this panel, blended it in. The interesting thing is, when I used more water, as it's drying almost to the same color as the light gray primer. This is not dry yet, but at least it looks like it's meant to be that color, because I filled that entire rectangle. And you can see how it looked here. It wasn't quite brushed on evenly. It's darker than it appears when it goes on. So that's good. So I'll wait for it to dry. We'll come back tomorrow, and we'll film the last videos of the week. And it'll be a couple weeks till I post part 1 of the Defiant build, coloring the main hull. That's what I'll call it. So, see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Back again. The paint is dried on the Defiant, and as you can see, if I didn't know I'd done that section by hand, and that I'd done that section by hand, because it's practically virtually indistinguishable from the hull color. So after multiple mixings, I finally got it right. The closest possible match to the thing. And you know what? I'll tell you something else. You see how there's a slight sheen, a slight shine from the gray primer? So there is where I painted, on both sides. So that's good. So now I can say that the bottom of the Defiant is ready for its pearlescent white coating. Let me just shift the tape a bit. Alright, so there's the bottom. Of course, what I'm going to actually do when I spray paint it is I'm going to try to put each piece in up on that so that they can be painted properly. And bring both bottles of pearl white, because I don't know which one is going to run out, and I don't want to have that happen in the middle of the ship. Now, as far as this piece, those 2 will be blue, but only in the recesses, so I'll have to tape the rest of it. That'll be red, only in between the copper, so I'll just Maybe I'll substitute the gold Sharpie, you know, for Star Trek 50 years. Every ship's got to have it. Those will be blue, but I'll tape off the flat part. Looks like they go in as one unit. Same with these four. I can't know if these... Maybe those circles have red. Maybe those circles have red. And I don't even know what that other part is. And that pretty well takes care of everything. Yeah, good. So, ship is ready for Pearl tomorrow. Yeah, I'll give it Pearl tomorrow and I'll get the main hull done. Of course, that means I'll have to do these in Pearl as well. Most of them anyway. Yeah, that'll work. I mean, I'll check everything. But I'll put Sharpie on all the parts color, silver Sharpie or so, and I'll see you tomorrow. So, have a good night. Bye-bye. And that's going to do it for this week. That's the end of part 1 of the Defiant build. I've decided that for part 2, I'm actually going to detail paint these parts because blue has to go in here, hull color has to go around it. The other side of this piece is actually the deflector. And of course, given the red and probably gold that has to go on the front nacelle housings, it's probably better just to paint them manually. And you can see here, I just applied the pearl coat to both the top and bottom hulls of the Defiant, as well as the bottom half of the deflector dish and the other hull colored pieces. And bearing in mind the warnings from the Facebook groups about how fragile the decals were, I gave them the Testors decal bonder spray. Oh, I'm actually going away this weekend. To visit my parents, but since I've got the ship to the detail painting stage, I'll bring along my reds and a medium blue and a gold Sharpie and the model glue and everything, so I can work on it throughout the Labor Day weekend. Might not have much video for that, but I'll have at least the pictures. I can narrate that slideshow later. So that's all for now for part 1 of model number 36, the 1000 Scale Defiant. And I'll see you all here next week for part 2. Bye-bye.